Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through!
Douse the fires, pull up stumps, and get on the road because it's time for Fumble Through!
Fumble Through!
A podcast that's as camp as a row of tents. Howdy doody weary, I can't even get that out. Howdy doody weary travellers, and welcome back to another installment of role-playing goodness. And Brett. We are once again here in the Fumble Factory getting ready to rumble. But before we do that, here's some things that we do each week. Lindsay, what's going on in the world of socials?
Oh, what? You didn't do the duty segue.
You
had a duty segue.
I had some duty jokes written here, and I thought, no, I'm not going to do it.
Someone took the Michelle Obama higher ground.
Low-hanging fruit. Speaking of low-hanging fruit.
You've done that one already.
Yeah, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We need some dicey questions. I don't even have an inane question from any weirdo.
You'll think
this
of one.
week. Yep, I can make one up.
What do you clean out the inside of a detergent bottle with?
A sponge.
Isn't it self-cleaning?
If your towel is clean and you get out of the shower, why is it dirty? Why do you wash those towels?
I don't wash the towels. The
But
towels
you're
wash
not
me.
cleaning yourself, you're drying yourself.
But you clean it when you get out, right?
Correct. But you're
So
still
how's the towel getting dirty?
you're still going to be wiping off.
Don't.
All right.
What are you wiping off?
Don't.
All right.
Clean
Brett-
water.
Brett's been
I'm
watching
wiping this conversation off.
Yeah, Brett's been watching reruns of New Girl. Yeah. So I have noticed, Lindsay, that over the last since we've been doing this, you've been doing the socials, and I have noticed that the social plugs have just become a little run of the mill. Are we going to get? Do we need to go back to giving you some voices or making you say the words backwards or something?
you can if you want, but I think we're at that stage where everyone knows where they can find us.
I know, but which is why I think we need to create some news, make some fake news around socials.
Oh, okay, leave it with me.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd like some.
I still want to work on TikTok. I had some phone dramas lately, so I'm hoping to get back into posting.
What happened to your phone, Lindsay?
My 10-month-old bit it and broke my OLED in the middle of my screen. So that was
Bit
fun.
your phone.
Yeah, it's just teething,
Broke your what?
The
Phone.
OLED
Phone.
LED screen.
What
underneath.
Lindsay calls the other parent.
Yep. So underneath.
How do you go to the toilet now?
With a 10-month-old.
Without a phone.
Kicking it old school.
I've
retro.
got a book, yeah.
A book? Gee, I'd have taken a magazine, but yeah.
Well, it's a comic book, so it's kind of a bit of both.
He's just in it for the superhero female outfits. Jane Keeney's and such.
I know. It's actually Hellblazer, which, depending on what I've had the night before, kind of is relevant.
Yep. Your chili trees are sprouting, aren't they?
Yeah, it's gone bonkers.
Well, beer.
Oh, yes.
I'm just looking through my
What
list.
do we do?
It just says beer.
Looking at the agenda.
So there are two options today.
Oh,
We have a...
no beer or beer.
Beer or beer spider?
Well, look, I had a tooth extracted last week, so I officially shouldn't be drinking alcohol.
Okay.
Why?
Because I'm on antibiotics.
I'm pretty sure that's more like
Are they the sort
guidelines.
that you can't drink alcohol with? Because not all antibiotics, some you can drink with.
I think the real question is, Luke, when has Brett ever listened to advice of people who are professionally literate and career professionals? When have I ever done that? So there's a ginger beard, which is the eighth of ginger beer, or a lovely stout that you brought, Justin.
Dealer's choice is what I say. If you're going to get fucked up on medication and alcohol, I think you should choose your own poison.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
What was the stout like?
Don't know.
It's
We
a
haven't had it
sticky-
yet.
No. As in, what was the prerequisites on the can?
It's a sticky date pudding stout.
Is that a sticky date one?
Yeah.
All right. Not trying to sway you here, Brett.
Well, I don't know why I have to pick the beer.
How about we roll
Because
for
it could be your last drink. We've just established that you're on medication.
Nah.
And the
I don't
cyanide
think anybody's
tooth.
got any dice, Lindsay.
Oh, yeah, true.
I was just wondering if Lindsay could get the cans because he's closest to the
I
fridge.
will,
Look,
but
I have a D20 coin here that has a 20 on one side and a 1 on the other.
Okay, we can make this as hard as we bloody well like. Just get the cans out of the fridge. Lindsay hasn't seen which cans are which. He's just picked the right.
that made-
Pick a 4-pack, mate.
That made a nice
It did
noise.
make a nice noise, actually. Yeah. Can I this one?
Natural one.
Natural one. You failed.
Ginger beard it is.
Ginger beard. Ooh. Looks a bit like you, Luke. Your
Except
beard's
for the
not-
ginger.
Yeah, and
You've got a beard, though. Like, you got that bit right.
Is it your turn to go to Specsavers? I know I've just been.
So just to preface this one, this is Aether Brewing, fabulous Brisbane Brewing Company, Northgate, Queensland. They brew out of Northgate, 1.3%. So right in the pocket for a ginger beer. It's got a wonderful picture of a very effeminate looking they them with a beard on.
Vegan. Sorry, I was reading something else.
Art by Steve Falco. It's a bearded lady is what it was, and it's all on canvas artwork. It's called Ginger Beard, BEERD. All natural, real ginger, vegan, gluten-free, low sugar. And we've had a bit of Aether Brewing. They're a bit of a favourite. They do good work.
So are they linked to Bud Light?
No?
Okay.
Does anyone else see a clown when they look at the Aether logo?
I'm curious.
It's a
Is it
teardrop.
Aether or Ether?
I think it could be both.
Okay.
What?
Like the person on the can.
We were all thinking it. Oh, the panic that went through your face.
I was like,
when you
do
thought
I
that.
hang
It's
myself
like,
here?
how-
Yeah.
It was lovely to watch you laugh at your internal monologue.
All natural and real ginger, vegan, gluten-free, and low sugar.
I think my question for the picture is, do the carpets match the drapes?
Oh, okay. All right. I'm taking a drink.
I'm very cautious to drink this because the last ginger beer I had on air
Oh, I still haven't had that
was
yet.
absolutely amazing.
Okay.
It was. And your can's still in there, Justin, if you
Can
want
I say firstly, I don't think it's hops forward. It's got a real ginger hit to
Yeah,
it.
that
Does
has. Again, very refreshing.
It's got a real ginger. There's a metallic taste to it.
Is that the
that I
aluminium taste of forgetfulness?
There's a tickle of the ginger at the back of the throat.
Yeah. What about the drink though?
I still can't get over the clown. No one else see a clown?
I do see a clown. I also see a face tattoo tear.
Yeah, just the hat,
The hat,
and
and
then the
the
teardrop
smile.
of the nose, yep, and the smile.
It's very spicy.
Yeah, so I've had this before. It's delicious. It's one of my favorites.
But for me, though, it just looks like an upside-down thing you see on Google Maps.
What I like about this, and I know you're still talking about the logo, what I like about this is some ginger beers are a little too sweet. So after you drink it, there's a real kind of syrupy aftertaste.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that from this.
No, this is good. It's got that kind of good kick of spice in it.
Low sugar. It shouldn't have a syrupy taste.
It's warm in my belly.
Yeah.
I think it's medicinal as well. Ginger.
Oh, actually, this is good for your tooth, Brett. You should probably drink 4 of these.
Grab your nearest ginger for the medicinal effect.
Don't mind putting a ginger in my mouth.
On my mouth, in my mouth, and whatever.
At
I
the
thought
back
that's
of
how
your
you got
throat.
gingivitis.
I prefer the other one. This is nice, but
This is fine.
Yeah,
This is a good,
This is
solid-
good. This is good, but
In the pocket,
Justin really needs to drink
Good.
the other can.
7.5, 8.5 even out of 10, but the other one was right up there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to know you're giving me the, I guess it's my own fault I stopped drinking.
It's in the fridge, Justin.
See, you don't have to stop drinking, case in point.
Well, that's true. That's true. Some would say it's a problem, but it's also true.
It's a
there.
commitment, Justin.
Yeah.
It's a commitment.
Yeah. So, moving forwards, this week, the dicey question is one for those of us out there who are parents, or those people looking to be parents, or those parents who have parents. It dawns on me that in this room, we have a collective of about 45 odd years of parenting experience. And while it doesn't make us good at it, it does allow us to have an opinion on how it should be done. So, my question is
With the lights off.
a more philosophical one, and it goes like this. And this is exactly how I wrote it when I thought it. How do you parenting? what are some of the things you make sure that you do? So I think this is in essence, to clarify for Luke, it's we're all parents. What are some things that you're like, these are my ethos of parenting. This is what I think about parenting and what I hold dear.
Yeah, I think it's important to be as inconsistent as you possibly can.
I like it.
Sadly, I am. Not even trying.
Yeah. I think it's very important to have an active partner who does most of the job.
Oh, he went there.
Yeah, I think that's really important.
Is it important not to be that partner? Because I think I've failed there.
Yeah. It can't be me. I'm the inconsistent one.
Right.
No, but what are some of the things that you hold dear around your parenting philosophies? Whether they're the same as everyone else's or different. I mean, we all have the thing like keep them alive, feed them, love them, all that kind of stuff.
I kind of feel like I'm still working on that. Like, I was just talking to Brett before we started about, because Lorelei's just turned 3.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my God, the attitude of that child is ridiculous. Like, it just came out of nowhere. Beforehand, she was so polite. Yes, Daddy. Please, Daddy. And suddenly it's like talk back and mocking me.
You didn't have the terrible 2s?
No.
Yeah, my oldest did not. Wasn't till 3. Terrible 3s, and then it's forever.
Yeah, it's
the wind changed.
It does feel like it's just suddenly bang. I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
No, they're an asshole.
Because the thing that we've got in here is we've got both of you are very new parents, and all of your kids are under, like Lindsay, your kids are under 3 or 3 and under.
3 and under, yep.
Luke's
10,
oldest
7,
is 10.
and newborn, yeah.
Brett's oldest is 13, and my oldest is 17.
Yeah.
Going 18. So it's very different phases in our parenting journeys as well and stuff. What do you hold dear, Brett? What's your
Look, I did work with children, like young children, for a while, and I loved it because the philosophy there was to embrace the play, and I think there's something in that when you have kids to really get rid of all of the things that kind of hold you up in as an adult and stop you from being playful and really jump in. Kids are really good with that. I wish I could do that more and better, but I'm failing, I think, at a lot of that a lot of the time. But playing with the kids, I think that's the philosophy for me, is trying to be playful, and it's good for me and it's good for them. Trying to find the boundary between that and guidance and, stopping them. I did some garden work, took the kids out. They're not outdoor kids. We took them out and showed them how to use an axe and a saw today. And the amount of times I watched my eldest chop towards his hand or his foot with an axe, that was, I said to him, the 2 mistakes with an axe are chopping towards yourself and using a blunt axe. And he was chopping towards himself with a blunt axe.
Good thing it wasn't sharp, though.
50% of that was my problem.
Yeah. Could have been some injuries.
So, just guide where you can. Try and stop them being tools, I think, is the no dickhead policy. Don't raise a dickhead.
Yeah, failed.
Well, comparatively, they're really good kids, Justin. There's apples and trees, right?
Yeah. They're fighting against their genetics. Luke just did a spit take.
Next warning, please. Mindful of ginger beer. About to eject from my nose.
I've just been doing some research online. The collective noun for fathers is a khaki of fathers.
A khaki of fathers because it's so brown and shit.
Yeah.
I did. There was a study that they did, and they talked about what you can do long lasting that has damage to your kids. And the study showed that there's not actually too much parents can do that will kill apart from like neglect, like as long as you're feeding and do it, like not harming them and stuff. But the only damage that you really can do that they think is long lasting is smoking in front of your kid, drinking to excess in front of your kid, and not showing kindness to others. They're the 3 things that they reckon can have a long lasting impact in front of your children. So by those measures, I'm doing okay with 2 of them.
Oh, look, I've seen you in the pair of pants you came in. You're smoking in that.
So yeah, I don't know. For my part, I know I've made some mistakes as a parent, and we all do. I think chores are more important than I ever gave them stock. As my kids have gotten,
Talk about that.
As I've gotten older, my kids do not hold a value for hard. Well, that's wrong to say because they are hardworking kids. They don't hold a value for chores.
Right.
So they will get their work done. They will do the things, but they're like, when it comes to scraping your bowl and doing dishes and stuff, there's no thought of who has to come after them
the follow-up
to do stuff. So
I
think
that's an age-related thing, though, isn't it? Because once they start actually running their own show and they've got that'll sink in.
Oh yeah,
quick,
I can't wait to go to their fucking houses and destroy them.
Yeah, shit all up the pan.
Yeah,
they scrape it down.
But but I think if they had to do the dishes a little more often, they would actually have an idea of, don't leave your shit everywhere, or don't leave stuff that gets washed down the sink and someone has to scrape it out and stuff. All those gross things that it's just something that somebody else has to come past and do. So that's one of the things that I'm like,
have you made them do those jobs so they get an appreciation of it?
No.
So I've very much thought my kids should be cleaning the toilet, given they can't hit the fucker with a, it's like they've put the penis on cone spray every day.
When they're peeing and they turn around and they're like, what? No, turn back around.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw some droplets on the light switch the other day.
Oh my God.
Yep. Wait, you got Lindsay, all ladies. Luke, you got a boy coming. You got that sprinkler on the way. I think the other thing that I guess is my parent thing is I am a parent and not a friend, but I also talk to my kids as well as I can, treating them for their age. So I think I've always treated my kids like they're young adults so that I can have a conversation. And I think that's been pretty good in the fact that I can have some decent conversations with my kids. Like, it's interesting. We went out for dinner the other day. Thank you, Andrew Tate, for some of the really misbegotten values that some of my kids have around transgender. And, that was a real conversation. And we were sitting in a restaurant having this robust conversation about transgender. And, my middle child, who's a little more disagreeable, kind of like me, but he would say something about, and my point was, what does a transgender person do that affects you personally? Why can't you treat someone with dignity and respect? It doesn't matter if they're trans, if they're gay, if they think they're a unicorn, whatever that happens. And I was like, and I was trying to get that point across, and it was really an interesting discussion that was from a perspective of a 13, a 15 and a 17-year-old. And to see the difference between the 13 and the 17-year-old was very quiet because he's quite open to that stuff. The 15-year-old, it's sort of just that world dawning on him as he's blossoming into his adolescence and stuff. But that world's dawning on him. But I think talking to them and exposing them to a lot of things, like I've never really had rules with my kids around what they watch. Like the only 2 rules I've got is I don't mind sex and violence. I just don't like when those 2 things meet. So they've watched violent movies. They've watched,
but some of the manga cartoons they've got to steer away from.
We don't. Yeah, probably. Yeah. And but that's, I don't know if that's a parenting philosophy.
I took a bit of, because your kids are older than mine, I was lucky enough to have 2 brothers who had kids before me, and I could take some parenting advice. I could see wins and losses with both my brothers. So Justin's ability to talk authentically to his kids and treat them as humans and really fight against, as fathers, the patronization of a kid in that conversation and talking down to them. I saw that a lot, and I really valued that. And I think I've tried to do that with my kids, where you can just have an authentic conversation with them. And it does. And I think I took that into my work as well, to go, the only difference between what I've got and you've got is knowledge, and I shouldn't diminish your ability to be in the conversation because of that. I just need to give you the knowledge to have the conversation.
Well said. The only difference is knowledge. That's well said.
Yeah, so, as long as you've got the time and the energy and the information, you should be able to have the conversation with me. So let's give you those things, and that's up to me to provide, not up to anyone else. So my hope is to lift my kids to a level of understanding of topics that we've got a very solid base in them so we can devolve them, like we do at this table, into stupid and inane comments.
And get uncomfortable and make stupid jokes.
But so we know that we're on a very strong basis of belief that we can undermine that belief or we can play around with that belief, but always land back at where we are. So, my oldest son has grown up with kids who are gender fluid, who have spectrum issues, who have, all kinds of things. And it's not even on his radar. It's one of the things that's just, it is, I'm playing with Crystal. Who's Crystal? He's a boy that, we play online with. It's fine. But she is he's really open with she likes a she pronoun, but is a male gendered human biologically. And he just gets it all kind of innately. And I've you just heard me struggle through that, and it's still, I pick up that stuff from him, and I kind of go, actually, at that point, I could do some learning there. You can help me with some knowledge gap filling, and I think that's really fun. And then you go outside and you play lightsabers with them, and that's fucking fun.
Oh yeah, that's good fun too. But I don't let them touch my toys. That's wrong.
One of the things I try and do with Lorelai, I've always been big on chores. Like, to me, chores are something that a lot of kids don't ever learn how to do, not until they leave home. And then
it's a mistake.
It's them trying to figure out how to do stuff themselves with their own things, which isn't great
Double
either.
life, man.
Yeah. So I think that's an important thing. So we've, like, Lorelai, as soon as Lorelai was old enough to understand, she'd pack up her toys after playing with them. Now,
but you come from a house that does chores. Everyone in your house does chores.
Yeah.
So you've got a useful benchmark there for everyone who just kind of, your wife loves being clean.
Yeah.
You get in, you do work. I don't have that baseline here. I've got different levels of energy when it comes to maintenance in the house.
My energy's spent.
So the ability for you to kind of set that basis with your children is really good, I think, because it's kind of it's seen.
Yeah, it is. I'm not generally a clean person off the top of my head. I had to learn that from when I moved in with my wife, because she's very, very clean compared to me, who I thought, this goes away, and that was it. But the other thing I try and do, because I don't think Lorelai is quite up to the thing in having conversations yet. But the one thing I try and do, and this is just something I hate watching dads and mums do, is the just when their kid is talking to them.
Right.
Not being engaged what their kid is saying. It doesn't matter if it's a why loop, I think they're asking questions, you should be answering them.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if it's a 30-minute conversation that goes down this massive why loop. If they're coming up with the time to ask the questions or tell you about something, you've got to come up with the time to be engaged and listen to them and, be interested in what they're in.
But it's also some of the best parts, because that's when you have the play conversations. Like, you talk about it and you're like, they talk about being a king, and you're like, well, what would your kingdom look like? Or, or they're pretending to be something. And you're like, I want to explore your brain right now, because at this point in time, you are unfettered, just total creativity. There is nothing constraining that. There's no shame to it as well. Like, it's like, oh, that's a stupid idea. It's a bit, everything is on the table.
I recently started watching Power Rangers again because it showed up on Netflix. So I went down the rabbit hole to the original series in the 90s. A big nostalgia hit. And Lorelai walked in, and I thought, she has always shied away from anything scary or conflict, and she actually loves it. I'm like,
it's bright and shiny.
It's PG.
Big things.
Instantly, she's started. You can see her. I'm going to be the Pink Ranger. So, but instead of being that Pink Ranger, she's the pretty princess Pink Ranger.
Nice.
She's not that one. She's her own one. And it's like, that's great. You role play that. Yeah.
I think the other thing that I find important is not to just try and keep everything happy and light and bubbly. And, there's that thing of, I call it wiggle syndrome, where everything has to be happy and good. And, there's no depth to character emotions. And we don't shy away from hard conversations about sadness or feeling down or problems in the world or, that kind of stuff. I think that's really important to kind of build resilience emotionally, to kind of go, yes, you feel sad and there's reasons why you feel sad and here's what's going on and let's talk that through. I think that's really important for us here to kind of spend that time to go, your full range of emotions here. You don't like that toy being taken away from you. There are consequences to behavior, or that thing broke, or your friend doesn't like you anymore, or whatever that is. Let's not just kind of try and hide that with a bit of chocolate and a bright TV show. Let's kind of reconcile that properly. I think that's important.
Luke?
It's interesting that you asked the question, actually, because the last couple of weeks I've been reflecting a lot on my parenting fails. So I guess what I would add to this is time on the clock, basically, spending time. Doesn't matter, the idea of screwing stuff up, because we all do as parents.
Mm-hmm.
But if you disengage, then you have no chance of actually building anything out of whatever you've started with or derailed or whatever. If you're just gonna have those moments, which I can sometimes with my kids, just want to be like, I've had enough, I'm just gonna walk away from this, but that ends up rapidly becoming something that I'm U-turn on, because obviously you want to spend time with your kids. So one of the things we do now, like the last couple of weeks that we started doing, we used to do it a couple of years back, we stopped for some reason. I think it was probably because we moved house and a few other things went on, but on Sundays we do a very British thing and have high tea. So
cool.
We'll do cakes and sandwiches and things like that on a 3-tier cake stand.
Awesome.
Eat that, and then we'll go and watch a documentary on Netflix.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah,
the
that's
girls
cool.
have been pretty, at least my oldest has been pretty quick to push for like the David Attenborough sort of biology stuff, which I grew up on, what I've been really happy to do. But this term she's got a curiosity project and she's doing something on volcanoes. So we ended up watching this documentary on volcanoes and she loved it.
Is that the fire one?
It's relatively
Heart of
new,
Fire?
but there's I think it's natural disasters. It's like 4 episodes or 5
Okay.
episodes. It's volcanoes, earthquakes, typhoons, and a couple of others. I can't remember what they are. We've watched the earthquakes and the volcanoes one. Ava, who's nearly 7, was getting quite scared because it's actually quite confronting when you start seeing some of this stuff,
Yeah,
especially with
fair
volcanoes, relatively recent, events that have happened with very real people, obviously in the video footage and stuff like that. But it's been great to have those conversations about those sorts of things, and see that kind of like talking about curiosity and play, but like the idea of, which for me as a scientist is or science teacher now, but is awesome because my kids are getting involved and excited about science. And to see them really engaging, because like Elise is just like completely hooked into it.
Yeah.
Has been great to sit in that space and have that time. So yeah, just spending time, especially like now as well, because my daughters are very much into digital devices.
Yeah.
So I get home from work and it's we're trying to get them away from this, but it's like it's TV or it's games or it's something, and there's very little time for you to engage.
Yep.
But I know that people talk about that, but then you think about our growing up. We had the TV. Like they could talk about the idiot box. It's no different, except they have access to things they want to engage with. That's the big difference. Like I used to come home from school, I'd put the TV on and we would stay on the TV till dinner time. Then we'd have dinner. And then,
Is the difference though that it's a shared experience that you're sitting there
so,
with
like,
other people
I remember
talking
coming
about
home,
stuff?
Yeah, and it was like 4 or 5 channels.
Yeah.
One TV in the house, in the living
had
room.
patience for
so
what
we
you
would
wanted to
sit
watch,
there and watch, as a family, things like Star Trek, things like Babylon 5, James Bond movies, and like documentaries with David Attenborough. And it would be, conversation would happen out of it.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
And you'd watch
now.
the news or something.
yeah.
You'd be pushed out of your comfort zone.
But it
as
builds
well.
communality, right?
Yeah,
In your
absolutely.
family.
But it's really hard like now where I'll get home and I've got Ava's playing on Wuduku and then or watching Bluey, and then you've got Elise is off on another screen watching something else. It's a real compartmentalization of engagement.
Yeah, fair enough.
So in that sense, I find it difficult to manage the time with them.
Yeah.
So that's why, like when they do the high tea, kind of having that time check-in time as a family, I think is super important. I don't know, because you were saying about Monday nights as well as your...
Well, this month, because we had a holiday, but Friday nights is really my family night. So Friday night has been movie night traditionally in our house, or has been a time where we engage together with something. And it's not always, there's 5 of us in our house. So now it's sort of, maybe it's 1 or 2 kids, like, even last night, the oldest didn't want to do it. He wanted to go do his own thing. And he's old enough, go do your own thing. So we engage with whoever wants to engage with that. But like on that device stuff, really interesting that I've found in my experience is having the conversation with them and saying, what are you watching on YouTube? Like some of the, I honestly went at one point, I asked this question thinking, here's going to be some inane crap that my kids are going to show me. And I'm like, show me what you've been watching on YouTube. Mark Rover comes on, Hacksmith comes on. And I'm just like, these are the most amazing. Like, when were you interested in chemical reactions? Like, and just watching these kids go, oh yeah, and this, like my kid was talking about Ages of Extinction yesterday, and I was like, what the hell? And he's like, oh, they mentioned it at school, so I went and looked it up, and and I'm like, you're actually smart little creatures that
with access to information.
Yeah, and I don't know anything. Like, and they know I don't know anything now.
We've banned YouTube in our house because
there's an age for it, though.
Elise had actually, we got to a point which we didn't realize until obviously a little bit late, was Elise was using my account, and how I hooked into this was when I was at my job, and it came up with the feed of all the stuff that had been being watched when I was using YouTube for a particular thing, and it had all these like Barbie manicure videos or whatever and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But when I went in and started looking at my account, what I didn't realize was Elise had actually figured out how to make and post her own video on YouTube on my account.
That's
it was only something it was her turning a t-shirt into a bag that she'd watched somewhere else, and she was just playing around with it. But as soon as that, it was like, whoa, lockdown. No way are we doing anything like that now.
Well, we've got, my youngest is like YouTube, like he goes deep into YouTube, and I'm just not sure what the filter is like on that and what he's watching and what he's not. And that's where my concern is whether he can curate his own feed well enough for it to be appropriate for him and his kind of emotional space and intellectual space. And some of the things he said, I think he's getting access to some things that we probably wouldn't have let him watch. But he's using those things respectfully enough as a kid. Yeah. And it's it's making him into a more rounded, wiser young man, I think, because he's getting access to stuff and now has to make his own choices on what he is and what he doesn't and what's appropriate and what's not. So there's some wins on that and some, tricks on that. Yeah.
It like you said, it's exposing them at a time where they're a little bit more discerning, because I remember when before all that happened with the video posting, and Elise came up to us and was all super pumped because she'd seen a video with real life footage of a real life unicorn, and she was convinced, like 100% convinced. And it took a few days to talk her down into the space of like, that's not real.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if that's how you're going to get at this age about things, then it's probably not the right space for you to be playing around in.
There's an emotional maturity that comes with, like I was saying, Andrew Tate. Like, I know my kids are watching Andrew Tate videos, and I personally do not like what he says. We have robust conversations about what he says as well, but they are at an age where they can discern some shit. So, I'm like, I trust that you've got the wherewithal to actually pick up, on what's bullshit and make your own opinion on stuff. I worry though that their opinion is very influenced by things at the moment.
But it may be as a phase anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's
like they say the wrong thing to the wrong person.
Then they get the repercussions of having those views, and then they'll challenge that and mold that kind of space out in that space. Sorry.
The other risk is the echo chamber of that information, that if they're listening to it and their friends are listening to it and there's no other voice, that it could just be reinforced and reinforced.
Well, that's also what I worry about with things like YouTube, because the the algorithm, if you're watching that, will start
It'll just keep feeding
shooting
that
stuff
stuff
at you
back.
from other people that are sharing those
Yeah.
opinions as well.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
that in itself
But
becomes an echo
that
chamber.
also comes with keeping it open. Like I talk to my kids. If you're talking to someone online in my house, you're inviting them into my house. So I want to know who you're talking to. I want to know. I want to have access to what you have access. At no point, if I ever ask a kid for their phone to go, I want to have a look through what you've been looking at YouTube. If they said no to me, that would be a bad day in my house. So that is a rule that I'm like, I need to know what you're accessing. I need to know what's coming into my house, and we need to be open. So, and I know there's probably sneaking teenage boys. I know what they're sneaking to watch and all that kind of stuff, but there's enough of it that I'm like, I'm not going to let you watch a Communist Manifesto without having a conversation about why you're watching a Communist Manifesto.
Yeah.
And I've had that conversation with one of my kids.
Really?
Like, I caught him watching beheading videos one day. One of his friends had sent him there's some website out there that shows, so there was a picture of a beheading. And I was like, what are you watching? Like, how do you feel about this? Interesting conversation. Very interesting conversation.
Do you find your kids are policing each other as well? That there's a bit of that peer-to-peer kind of instruction? I'm getting that from Josiah, my eldest to my youngest. He kind of will help shape that viewability. And there's something, Stephen He, they introduced me to Stephen He, and I was like, oh, what's this? And Uncle Roger is a bit on the edge for me for Wilder some points. And you're like, all right, but Josiah kind of will help correct Wilder in terms of what's appropriate and what's not.
Yeah. It's different for boys. I have a weird view of boys. My idea is always you take a group of males, you take the smallest IQ in that group and divide it by the number of males in the group, and that's the IQ of the group.
Oh, shit, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's right. So, and that is every group of males. So if anything, my boys are fucking each other up. So yeah, it's
now look at this table. We're at 5.
Single digit.
I just did it. We're at 5.
Single digit, and you have to count on your fingers and toes to get there. Lindsay, what have you? You've been very quiet.
I said some stuff.
Yeah, I know you have.
It was me that was quiet, to be honest.
No, but Lindsay hasn't said anything for a while.
My kids can't really, and she doesn't know how to work the TV.
What do you hope though? Like, if you think about the parent you want to be, or the thing that you want that you hold dear, what is the thing that you're like? This is something I need. Like, you've talked chores and stuff.
Yeah,
but
as I said, communication and engagement are the two things I want to keep open with my girls as they grow up. And I know that might be something that, as being the father, won't be something that I will necessarily get until they pass their teenage years. But
you will.
Aaron?
Yeah, no. I get that with my girls now. Some conversations, and it's so important to make sure. I'm gonna. I don't know how unpopular this is gonna make me, but certainly with girls, I think having those avenues of safe, comfortable conversations, so that they feel that they can come to you with issues.
Yeah,
because the last thing I want for my girls is them to be going through. And I'm thinking of something specific here. Them to be in a situation where they feel they can't say anything.
Yeah. That's kind of the thing I want to stop. But like, as I said, for me, it's all still very new. Like, I saw only today my first tantrum for wanting to watch a specific episode of Bluey.
Well, you wouldn't let her.
Well, no, I just wasn't on.
Oh, right. I was like, fuck.
I'm like,
what episode did you want to watch?
She wanted to watch the newest one, which was about holiday.
Okay.
And I'm just like, it's not on. So she chucked a tantrum. And then it's that, do I go put the episode on to make her happy? Or do I just go, this is what's on TV at the moment. I can't help you with that.
That's the hard line sometimes, yeah.
I think that's the trick about going safety. We always were like, that's the safe. You want to be the safe space for your kids. You're looking after them, so they need to be able to talk to you. And where's the boundary between going, you're being a little shit right now, suck it up, or I can provide exactly what you want, but it's probably not healthy for you.
Yep.
Where do you make that call?
Yeah. What you want is not what's good for you.
Or, if she's going to watch an episode of Bluey anyway, she can watch the episode she wants, but she has to ask for it rather than tantrum just because it's not on.
And the consequences of tantrum sometimes is, well, now I take the device because...
So these are all things I'm learning to deal with, and I haven't I haven't figured them out yet.
I don't think you ever figure them out, mate,
No.
because they're wily little creatures and they change daily.
And you change as well. Like, we're educators. Sometimes I get home, the last thing I want to do is deal with teenagers because it's my job as well.
I
And
struggle
I
with
have
that daily.
I sometimes at work, I am the most patient person on the face of the planet, and I have zero of that. They'd say the cobbler never brings his home. The cobbler's kid has no shoes.
I get
my kids are dumb. And I have no patience for them.
Zero.
That's the worst.
Exactly the
part.
same when I get back.
That's a flippant joke, but that's that's the worst part of
it's
me.
True. I get my wife to fix my phone when I get home because I do IT. I don't want to. Fix
You don't want to do it.
stuff.
Yeah, you tapped out of that kind of thing. I want to circle around something you said, Luke, around reflecting on your mistakes. Like I often used to talk to Mikey around like bad parenting moments, 7,000, and we would say like what you do. And I think it's really easy to dwell on all the mistakes you make because there is going to be mistakes because you're dealing with a malleable this thing and what is the rule this week cannot be the rule next week. Like it can it's a shifting sand and your mood and their mood and this and it's so many variables that go into it. So I think it's my thing is it's really important to go acknowledge the things you want to learn from. Like that time you lost your shit and you walk away and went, oh fuck, I didn't handle that very well. Like, and then you go back and then you have to explain to the kid or apologize and say, I was frustrated. I shouldn't have talked like that, and all that kind of stuff and eat some humble pie and talk through it, but try and make it the learning moment. But I think if we dwell on that too much, sometimes we don't take the chances because we think I'm going to fuck up as a parent. And, and then you read a study that says there are 3 things you can do that can have lasting effects on your kid. And I'm like, that's actually quite freeing to know that, as long as your kid knows they're loved and that they're going to be fed and looked after, like that's important.
My biggest concern is I know I am very confident and that they're going to turn out all right in that sense. My
I've met Sarah.
My deepest fear really is that I won't have a relationship with them. And that's the thing that worries me the most when I screw these things up frequently, especially with Elise, which is something that's been a deep discussion between me and Sarah over the last couple of weeks, especially. I think a lot of it is because Elise is very similar to me, and there's an immediate clash straight off the bat, and there's nothing like she's the one that a word, a look, and I go from 0 to 100 in the blink of an eye.
The one that knows to push your buttons.
That's right, and likes to do it as well, or seems to.
Yep.
My concern, and this is why I was saying it's so important to spend that quality time as a family together and have those positive moments. My concern is the negative moments are going to build up over time and result in a very fractious or insubstantial relationship with her.
But you won't let that happen.
Well, no, I can't. But I can't force that not to happen. Does that make sense? I can't.
But you show up every day.
Yeah, that's the thing. And that's the thing. Like having those moments together, and we do have moments with just me and her as well that are really good.
Yeah.
And conversations and things like that. So I know that I'm not in that space just yet, but there is a fear of mine that lurks in the background, like a circling shark in the ocean. It's like
I wonder about that because I look back at my childhood and I look back maybe with rose-colored glasses, but I'm sure my parents were tools at some point, but I can't remember one moment where they did not love me, and I don't feel that. I can remember many, many times and their moments and their insubstantial and inconsequential moments where I knew my parents spent time with me, and it's, I remember driving to gymnastics with my parents and they did that all the time. Not you were never in the car in my memory. But I remember those moments and there were nothing, but they were everything at the same time.
See, I have a very different situation with that, whereas I have I love my parents, but my dad I have a very strained relationship with. And talking about it now, it's just making me realize actually none of that is actually to do when I was younger, because all those things you just said I experienced as well. It wasn't until after I went past 18, between the ages of, I guess, of 18 and 24, maybe some stuff happened that really is what made it difficult.
I think once you hit 14, 15, then values start to play and you can have different
100%.
Values, and that's a thing.
Yeah.
But the whole turning up and loving them thing doesn't shift until, that up until the age of 13, that's real.
I mean, I still have a relationship with my dad, and we love each other dearly. But I guess what I'm saying is it's not where I would like it to be, and we are working on that. And it's certainly not how I would like my relationship with my children to be. Well, at the stage that I'm at now, does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Sorry, Lynch, you go.
There's definitely two phases, I think, for being a kid and being a parent. And that is, there is a point, obviously, when you move away and all that kind of stuff. And if your parents don't treat you, if they still like treat you like their little boy, you know, or the screw up kid or whatever, you're going to resent that. So there's also that knowing that point of when I think that they're obviously of a decision making stage that you need to go, okay, step back. You're going to learn from your own mistakes rather than forcing you to, you know, without going into what the issues are with your father. Like it took me a while for me and my dad to figure out our new dynamic when I was a working man and you know, when
you're two adults rather than an adult and a child.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm facing the cusp of this with a 17-year-old, you know, the moment of like, there are moments where I'm looking at him and I'm like, I know what you should be doing, but I'm not going to tell you because I need to trust that I've done my, like there's a moment where I'm like, you're the product of the can of stuff I've shoved into like the knowledge and I've got to let you do the shit and you've got to fall on your ass a couple of times and you know, and that's hard though when you can see it coming a mile away and you're like, oh God.
But they've got to go through that.
Yeah.
They got to.
At risk of belaboring the conversation, I've also seen Dimity's got a very strange relationship with her mother. They haven't spoken for quite some time. And I think that's because, again, when Dimity was older, her mother never took on a mother role. In my view, that she always wanted to be treated like the patriarch or matriarch of the family and be given all of the kudos for being a parent, but didn't put the work in. Okay. She didn't do the work to turn. She didn't turn up. She didn't, you know, she didn't value that relationship and put the effort into that relationship, but expected the reward out of it. So I think there's a thing of going as a parent, you've got to put the effort in to get that payoff back, and the payoff is immeasurable if you do, and it's devastating if you don't.
Yeah,
Thanks for a difficult question, Justin.
Yeah,
that's a podcast for this week.
Well, you know, and for those of you, like, I am interested in other people's philosophies in this because it's always nice to hear. There's plenty of people online that I follow, but you hear good stuff. You hear the parenting this, or you hear the flippant dad or whatever. But the people in our community are parents, and it is communal sometimes, and you learn from your friends. Like, you know, my kids have great friends, and you can tell a lot about a person by the company they keep, which is telling at this table.
Boy.
But, you know, to watch other people parent is also really, it's a lesson for me because you go, far out, they're so good at that. They are so good at just being patient or just being there, or like high tea. I freaking love that idea. Like, I can't do that with 3 boys, but high tea is something that, like, it used to be Nerf guns or forts or whatever, and I've lost that in the world.
I was just thinking we stopped doing dance parties after dinner because everyone wanted to do their own thing, but now we're playing games at dinner today. We had a great game of I Spy.
Yeah.
You know, and we're all playing the same. Yeah, hilarious. Everyone's having a great time at the table.
The thing we've done, sorry, just to add this on at the end, is that Sarah was doing a study on the Sabbath, day of rest, and how important that is. So what we've taken to doing now, we've challenged it. So on Sundays, there is no work to be done in the house. So there'll be no putting on washing, no dishwashing, or not even loading or unloading the dishwasher. Nothing that even resembles any kind of work, with the aim of rest, but also to allow that time to be spent together as a family without being distracted by doing other things. So another one of those is like no phones. Just leave the phones alone. Just put the phones away. And like this Sunday, it's a rocky start because it's actually a lot freaking harder than you realize to not do those things that you're so used to cramming into that time, which should be your time off. So Uno,
Oh,
We just hit Uno at the four of us around
Awesome.
the table. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
It's fun.
awesome just
Yep.
to play Uno and
Yep.
like just watching everybody crack shits because
Yep.
there's nothing divides a family more, in my opinion, than a game of Uno.
Monopoly.
No,
Monopoly.
that's just, yeah.
Did Will win?
yeah. I think Uno won. But yeah, so
thanks, Mattel.
that's certainly something that we're moving into that space, and obviously with the high tea and things like that is
Advise us, people out there. Tell us what
Yes,
you're
any of
doing.
you car keys out there that want to give us some more
Tell us what
advice?
you're doing. No, the car keys and the markies. The mummies? What are the... a gaggle?
Oh, okay.
Oh, what have I
Easy.
done?
Easy.
What have I done?
Easy.
Oh, God. Sorry,
Parents, any parents out
Yeah,
there?
thanks, Lindsay. Sorry, Karen. Anyway, back to this game. So,
Shall I hit record?
where we left last time, you guys had leveled up. So I just want to hear very
Oh,
quickly. We're going to go around the
Can I
circle. Yeah,
Brett is gonna he's gonna hate me in a minute. You are gonna hate me.
So we're 5th level, right?
Yep, fifth
so
level.
It's 5th
Level.
level.
Uh-huh.
We're getting some powerful. We're in the joys
Get
of a
fucked.
D&D character.
Just get fucked.
Let's start it with Brett,
Yep.
so we don't know
An
any better.
increase.
Yeah.
I get an extra attack.
Ooh,
Oh, so you get 1 now.
One effective one.
I get so.
Did you go up as a barbarian?
I did
You were
go-
talking
I
about
did-
going up as a paladin at one point.
Well, look, if I went up as a paladin, it would also get an extra attack. So, I'm still the bitter pill is large.
Yeah.
No, I get an extra attack without having to go frenzy or rage. So I can do 2 attacks around.
Yeah.
If I frenzy, I get the 3rd attack around.
Well, that's
so,
pretty good.
Well, there's a lot of
Yeah, there's a trade-off. to
trade-off
it.
in
Yeah.
that. And then I've still got, the other things that, let me roll multiple dice
points?
on. We haven't rolled that
Oh, that's
yet.
right. We do that on air.
Yeah.
What else? Well, like do your base attack goes up. Like
There's
is this
no base attack,
when does
Justin?
the
No
when
base
do- no?
attack.
But when does the
Proficiency
your
goes up this
proficiency
level,
bonus
yeah.
goes up this level to
Did it?
plus
Does
3?
it?
Does it?
mine did.
Oh,
Plus
yeah. So
3?
I'm at +5 to hit now. Look
Oh,
at
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, +3.
Yeah.
You're +5 to hit.
Shut up, fuck
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. What is it?
How are you only at +5? What is your strength?
My strength is 15 +2.
+2. So then +5.
Because I went for a con-based character.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
+4.
Thinking I would need to.
So we need to get you some kind of weapon that will. Okay. All right.
Well,
It's in the cards.
the idea there was con-based because there was no healing in the party.
Yeah.
That was why I'm flying. Yeah, because I stay away from everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do hit points. Do you want to do hit points now or all together? Like we'll do them one after the other.
I'm easy either way.
Let's do it. Actually, let's do it now.
So we
Okay,
roll the
so
same thing, we got to roll it again,
12?
right? 12.
12. So if we roll the same thing, we'll re-roll. 7.
12.
Whoa!
There
nice.
you go.
Get in
Beautiful.
there.
You want that.
And I add my con, which is my big stat, so that's +3. That's plus
So what's your hit
15
points
hit
at?
points.
Oh, 15 is
No.
decent.
So that gets me to 67
Wow. Holy. All right, Bard.
because there's no
Uh,
healing in the party.
So my bardic inspiration dice goes up to a D8.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Wow.
if I now inspire you guys, I roll a D8. You get the D8.
When do you,
And
what's this bardic inspiration? I can't recall that.
That's what
I
he does
usually do it
instead of
to you
healing.
guys. I usually use that to do cutting words and save myself from taking damage.
You don't get his bardic inspiration is an inner monologue, so we don't get to hear it. That's what it is.
Well, it's because I only get 4 of them.
No, I think cutting words is perfect. I think don't let us detract you from not taking like.
But
Look,
this
we
is the-
don't give Brett shit for
This
building
is
a
the
shit
other
character.
reason I haven't been doing it, is that I only ever went on a long rest. Except at level 5, it's a short rest or a long rest.
Oh,
Yeah, they're in there.
So you get
So-
to reset
gains.
after a short rest
Yes,
now.
so
That's
I'm
a
going to be
great
using
Oh,
it
you
mechanic.
got more a day now.
basically,
That's a
yeah. As long as
great
we
mechanic.
short
Yeah,
rest
yeah.
often,
That's good.
we'll be good. And then it's just a 3rd level spell. I get a
Okay.
3rd level spell.
That's all right.
Oh, 3rd level spell. Oh, shit.
It works differently.
I just realised exactly
You have no
why
idea
Luke,
what's coming,
why
Justin.
Luke is so happy. at
It's
third
actually,
level,
I just
man.
realised something a minute ago, and it's nothing to do with that because that I knew already. But just yeah,
But yeah, so I took Dispel Magic.
Oh, nice. That's very good.
Yeah.
That's very
There's
good.
no healing spells at level 3.
All right. What's your hit dice? 8?
8. Oh,
well, it's only up from there, right?
5.
I'll take it.
All right.
So what does that put your hit points at with your con bonus and stuff?
That takes me to 35.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I see an upside
This
for a
is
barbarian now.
that is
almost
great.
double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nykran.
Well.
Well. Fireball.
Can I just say, and any other time that I'm going to start playing 5e, I want to start at 5th level
Okay.
because
Fifth
shit
level-
just got mad.
5th level barbarian?
So, okay, proficiency bonus went up to +3.
Yeah.
Happy days.
So your attack bonus is now
+6. Yeah. My to hit. That's the spell. I don't know
That's
about
the spell to hit.
who
them.
wants to punch anything, right? Or I'm
Yeah,
more about
but-
spells,
Yeah,
right?
flying in the sky.
Yeah. So I've now got where are we? Let's go to there. I've now got 5 sorcery points.
Yeah.
So basically now what I can do, because I also have gained 2 third level spell slots as well.
2.
2.
Lightning bolt.
Yes.
Fire.
No. So not now with those sorcerer's points, I could use all 5 to create basically another third level spell slot.
Oh, wow.
So I can cash them all in and go,
And get
right, I have
a
another third level
yeah,
spell,
wow.
or I can use 3 of them to get a second, or 2 to get a first.
wow.
So
Okay.
depending on the strength of the level of the spell. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And I just realized as well, I had no idea about this. This has been here the whole time, and I've just actually realized it's something that I can actually do. The Meta Magic
Brett's face.
empowered spell.
Yeah, I've got something that I can do.
So when you roll damage for a spell, you can spend 1 sorcery point to re-roll up to 3 dice. Now, this is going to be important in a minute when I read you the rest of the stuff that I've got, okay? Meta Magic or subtle spell. So when you cast a spell, you can spend 1 sorcerer's point to cast it without the S or V components.
Okay.
So if I'm underwater and I can't speak, I can spend a sorcery point to then still cast the spell or
So
whatever.
it'd be like magic metal.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So,
Lindsay.
yeah. So for
His
my
big vocabulary.
for my 3rd level spell, I took Fireball.
Yeah, of course you do. What,
Yeah,
what else?
why wouldn't you,
of
right?
course, yeah.
But surely
Dex-
Fireball isn't
DC
big
Dex.
in 5e.
Yeah,
Surely.
Is it 5
Surely.
D6?
It is 150 foot range, first
Yep,
of all.
yep.
Is a dex save of 14 DC.
Yep.
And it's 8d6 with a
At 3rd level.
at 3rd level
yeah.
with a 20-foot sphere
Yeah.
area
20-foot
effect.
diameter or radius?
No,
Yeah,
sphere.
so I get 2 of those. But
It's
the
a
real
ball.
kick in the nuts for me, I say kick in the nuts in the nice way, if you like that kind of thing, is that all my cantrips have doubled their damage. So my fireball is now 2d10 each time forever.
What's the point?
Forever.
Point?
Why would you not just build a party of like magic users?
I just noticed my great axe doubled in fuck all.
Thunderclap now,
Yeah,
2d6 of damage.
Take that, mister. I got an extra attack.
That happens with my stuff as well, yeah.
I literally I was like, 2d10, what's going on there? Oh, okay.
Wow.
So not only that,
all
so then-
day. 2d10
Yep,
all day,
so now
no
my,
repercussions.
My burning
at
hands
120 feet.
my burning hands at first level is now 3d6.
Far out.
At second level, my Agnazara's Scorchers is now 3d8. Burning hands at second level is 4d6. Yeah.
You know what my biggest worry is?
What?
That we're going to go through all this and we're going to like
TBK.
it's called the Dragon of Ice Spire Keep. It's going to be a 1-round kill. that is my prediction. You guys are going to get there.
all over again.
Yeah,
I
you guys
really-
are going to get
won't
there,
be me.
and it's just going to be the most. You guys are just going to be like, bleh, and I'm going to be like, that's dead. Thanks, thanks for coming, Dragon of Ice Spire Keep.
It won't be Moranius. He can't kill a were-rat, let alone a dragon.
Yeah.
So I've been reading Terry Pratchett Discworld, and I love the magic in that, how they learn the spells and they only can cast each spell once. But if the wizard dies, every spell that wizard has learned gets cast automatically. How good would that be for a
Not great.
D&D mod?
Not great when you're standing next to your companion who...
It's
You've
fireball.
I'm just thinking,
It fireballs it. Oh.
Fireball, and I roll 3 ones. I get to re-roll those with a sorcerer's point.
All right.
Or if you're
All
a
right,
halfling.
what's your damn hit points?
that's only on
you
D20.
D6?
Yeah, I think I'm
Are you
D6. Yeah.
D6?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, 1.
Oh, 2. Fantastic.
Gross.
Let me
All
adjust
right,
that.
so
then.
what does that give you? How many hit
so
points,
that
John?
is going to give me. Is it my con I add to that?
Yeah.
Yeah, con bonus.
34.
Wow. Okay, so I see the benefits of a barbarian because you need those hit points because you're right
You've
up
got to
in
stay there and
yeah.
keep hitting and
You're
try
right
and
in
get through.
someone's face, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I should probably take all this damage while other people are doing the
150
effective
foot
stuff."
away.
Yeah,
And
they're being effective. I've just got to stand here.
And the other thing a barbarian does get, which, I'm not saying it's good, but in rage it's half damage for most
Yeah.
things. So, that's effectively 100
You're a
points, right?
meat shield.
Yeah.
I was going to take a point in cleric because, like, the level ones, you get a lot of cool stuff. But then I realized I wasn't wise enough to become a cleric.
Oh,
And no, it made me sad.
We've seen that as you're role playing and stuff. So we zoom back in, and J.R. Lockwood.
So, JR, so basically what we did last session is we did some looting and we had a rest.
Uh-huh.
So I had made this, I'm not going to read it out this session because we've gone so long on our dicey question, but JR spent the evening writing his last will and testament. So I've actually written it out as a legal document.
Okay.
Or as close to a legal
Well,
document
you're going to have to post that.
in a D&D world as possible.
We're going to have to post it.
I'm going to read that out next session because I
Okay.
think we've already spent enough time on our dicey question. But yes, we were exploring the manse. We contacted Logan and told him that the orcs were coming. We got some loot and we...
Falcon, right?
Falcon.
Yep, Logan.
Yeah. Logan Falcon.
Logan Falcon.
And and then we had a sleep and we leveled up.
Okay, and that brings you. So basically, you spent the entire night. So you guys got here to this woodland mansion in the middle of nowhere, an old wizard's a laboratory or a place where wizards might go to teach other budding wizards, a wizard repository, if you will.
A wizard suppository.
I knew you'd go there. You've been here for a night. You've spent the night here. The well still seems to have vines growing out. They're still very luscious. They're still very green, but there seems to be a different air about the space in that courtyard. You probably still don't want to go down there. It's still dangerous, but unless you want a big fight with something, but there, you know that nature may have taken control rather than something of a magical kind, if that makes sense.
The objective here was to stop the orcs from rallying. I think we've done that. Now it's time to get back to Falcon's Hollow and support any response back at that holdout.
Indeed.
Excellent idea.
Let's set off, shall we? Ophelia? Yes. Oh, good, you're still here. I couldn't hear you.
She said yes.
I thought she might have used that time to, go away.
Are you coming back to Falcon's Hollow with us, Ophelia?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, off we go.
All right, and you start walking. Again,
We've got horses, don't we?
you leave out. You leave the
Micah
front.
takes to the air.
You go out to the pumpkin patches. Just make a perception check for me.
You can carry me, Nike, remember?
Whether I want to. I'm just blinded by my own brilliance.
24, JR.
20 or 24?
20.
Okay.
And 18 for Meridius.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to make that clear.
18-4.
You notice the boars are all gone. So you don't see any of the boars here.
Oh, I was looking forward to taking back a trophy for the dinner table. That's a shame.
Any tracks, or they just...
Oh, you can see the tracks of there's still the sign of boar around the place, but you just, again, they're just not in the patch. They're not eating the pumpkins. They're
Should
not
we take some pumpkins back to
around
the dinner table?
pumpkins.
Well, they were magical.
like the mushrooms.
I don't want them then.
Is there any way, I
I can try my new magic spell on it.
I was going to say, can I do an
Make them
arcana check on the
non-magical.
pumpkins to see why they're magical?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do that.
So is this a detect magic?
hang on.
Arcana off.
Is there such a thing as a detect magic?
There is. Yes, okay, go on. We'll do a detect magic. Do
All
we?
right.
Yeah, hang on. Didn't I? No, hang on. I think I did that before, and you went, yes, they're magical.
They're magical. I don't know that you'd cast a detect magic. You kind of looked at them with your Did you have an aura sense or something?
No, he detected magic.
Oh.
I did. Yeah, I'm pretty
Well,
sure
then
I
we
did.
would have gone, it's a transmutation
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah,
and
you
then-
just said
that, yes,
yeah,
yes.
and then you were like, oh, we should stay away from these pumpkins because you were about to jump onto a roof at the time.
I think we
remember
were
it
worried
well.
about the boars being something else being
Yes.
transformed into.
Yes.
Yeah. And Frank was distracting us.
Beer.
With
Hoppy
beer.
forward.
Lots of beer. It was very hoppy forward, that thing. So, yes, they are very, very magical. They have a dim aura. By very
demure.
By very, I mean dim aura.
All right.
So, yes, you think that there is something transmutational about them.
We should, if they do turn people into pigs or things into pigs, you know what we could do? So we could grab some pumpkin, feed it to an ant, and then when it turns into a pig, we kill it and we have pig.
So hang on, when you,
You
mean
can study it.
transmutational, do you mean that it's something that was something else that's transmutated into the pumpkin?
No,
Or-
it's in this whatever magical effect it has is from the school of transmutation.
right.
So you know how there's like divination and illusion
Yes.
and
Yes.
so it's a transmutational spell.
Okay.
Do you spend some time
Sure.
studying?
Sure.
Okay.
This is where I end all this massive firepower, and I end up turning into a pumpkin.
Yeah. So have you ever watched Willy Wonka? There's a character in Willy Wonka called Violet. And when Violet eats a particular type of thing, she turns violet and she grows into a big round kind of. Then they have to put her in the juicer. Do you remember
Blueberry,
that?
yeah.
Yep, that does not happen to you.
Okay, cool.
You now know that as an action, you can carve open a pumpkin, and you think that the seeds within have healing powers.
Oh.
Bazinga. Okay, let's. I'll tell Maradius that.
Be careful though. Too many may have an adverse effect.
We should leave them here.
You don't want to take some of the seeds?
Well,
I mean,
I
apparently,
like seeds.
apparently no one else heals in this party.
This is true.
It's not apparent. Oh, it's not apparent.
look, if you wanted to take some pumpkins, we could take some pumpkins, but I'm not sure I fully trust them.
I'm going to crack one open and harvest the seeds.
You get 6 servings of seeds.
6 servings.
Yeah.
I love seeds.
Yeah.
He eats all 6.
What I've done in the last week is
Yeah, I go to put them in my pouch. I'm like, oh yeah,
It makes a bell out of them.
yeah, stick them together.
Sticks them together and make a big bell.
I just went back to the character creation because we were leveling up and noticed that I don't trust magic very well
that's right.
and don't like to sleep next to magic, which is why you always go up to the rafters. And
That's
I'm
right.
happy about that.
Yeah, no, that's my own choice. It's not because of you.
I'm also magical.
Yep.
Sure.
I make my cloak billow dramatically.
As you can do
flatulence.
now.
Yep.
Just stands hands on hips, cloak billowing. All right, and you start moving towards the back towards Falcon's Lodge. Is that where we're
Correct.
headed? So we're
I
going
will
back to
fly.
the manse. Yep.
Of course.
So you start coming here.
I do I get the sending stone out and just tell Falcon we're on our way.
Yeah. So his is from the west. So you have to head east. So you start moving in an easterly direction through the woods. Can I just get a percentile dice from
Okay.
somebody?
Before we do this, I
Yeah.
had a dream last night.
Uh huh.
Roll it first, but don't say the result.
Is it a 69?
That was his dream.
Luke did this,
Yeah.
and it was very, very bad for us.
Okay. Great.
Us, mate. 8d6.
Can you just turn it down?
Yeah, yeah.
It's almost as bad as Lindsay going,
Yeah.
oh my God, you can't
Just
kill me.
What comes
You're right.
And yet here he is still.
I'm feeling
what
like
comes before a fall, and how far can your character fall from that height?
it's never you two that will die.
That's true.
Hey, I got a pocket full of seeds. I'm good to go.
I got my will written out and ready to go.
I rolled a 14.
A 14.
Yeah, I was reading
Okay.
that the other way around. I was like a 40-10. No, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, you start moving through the forest of the Neverwinter Wood, and it is as you saw. Remember, it was quite foggy and rainy on the way here. The rain seems to have dissipated. It's kind of the mugginess of rain is still around, or the dampness of rain, and you can see the wet leaves and that are all over the ground. But there is, you travel on your way. You don't see too
my dream,
many,
you was a dragon.
too
and we
many
died.
things, except
The dragon, and we all died.
there's a moment when Ophelia raises a hand. She's just sort of walking near you, and she puts a hand up,
Easy love, you've only got one of them.
and it's a stump. She raises her stump with a metallic hand on it set into stop. And then she bends down and doing the finger to you. All of you, with
What, she
your
doesn't give you a
passive
stumping?
with your passive perception, you hear a kerfuffle just off into the
Kerfuffle.
just off the road in the middle of the woods. You can hear like a thudding noise, and you can hear
There's a bit of hullabaloo going on over there.
and you can hear as if there is some kind of battle taking place.
Go on, Nikron.
I'm not going near those shenanigans.
I'll come with, but you are.
I'm in the air, actually. I'm quite a ways up.
Yeah, never mind. Okay, Maradius, let's go check out these noises.
Okay.
Well, it might be Logan.
Radius will shake his head and start walking as quietly as possible, taking his time to try and see what he can see.
Oh, we're stealthing.
What is...
Good luck.
Because you have stealthy boots now.
Yeah.
Let's stealth it.
Mm-hmm. You see Ophelia immediately go to a defensive crouch. She puts a hand crossbow, attaches it to the stump, and she kind of disappears almost in some of the woods as she starts to move towards the din.
24 for JR.
Yep, JR, you start moving
doing that.
quietly.
24 for.
JR got a 24.
There you go. Perfect.
I got that was a natural 20.
I rolled a 5, which gave me a 6. But with boots of elven kind, I roll advantage, which then got me a natural 20 for 21.
Okay.
You would have said 7.
Nice.
Which got me 8.
I would have been choice.
Which gets me 8.
So let us go and find out what this hoo-ha is all about.
This hullabaloo.
You move through the woods a little bit. So there is tree canopy. For you, Nikron, it's going to be very difficult. Like you have to get through the tree canopy
Yes.
in order to move. Or you can just
Are you-
along.
Yeah, is Lin-
sort of on treetops, like in the boughs. It's quite large trees here.
Yep.
So you can fly between the trees and keep an eye on your compatriots, or you would have to break over the canopy of the trees and lose sight of your
But is there any way
party.
is the canopy easy to traverse through coming down?
Yeah, like trees, you just have to go through there. But the problem for you is line of sight. So
Okay.
that you would break line of sight.
So
really.
what are my options? I can be under the canopy or over the canopy?
You have to,
So I'm
essentially.
under the canopy.
Yeah. Okay. So you're flying under the canopy between trees,
between
which kind of slows you down a little bit because
Okay.
you have to duck and dive.
But I'm keeping a bit of a distance because they're stealthing. I see what's going on. I'm assuming if you told me this on the stones.
Yeah, I've said we're going to go look out, check out this hurly-burly and see what's going on.
We can't talk to you about the to-do that's coming up because of the stone being with Logan.
Oh, yeah, true.
All right.
You could have landed and whispered it.
Nikron, you see this a little bit before your compatriots do as they break into a small clearing in the forest. There's a little circle, copse of trees that has a small clearing in the middle of it. In the middle of the small clearing, you see a horse carrying what looks like a quite a large spear. Or a pike, as it would
The
be
horse
known,
was carrying a
as it
spear?
would be known, in his human-like hands that protrude from his torso, which comes from the front.
So hang on, it's
he
a
is
horse?
not an actual horse.
Okay.
He is a
Just hung like one.
He is
Horse's
a
ass.
centaur. He
A
is
centaur.
Yes, he is fighting another creature that looks like a hybrid creature that somewhat is part humanoid, but also part. You can see it has very boarish characteristics. Very similar because you were in the room with Maradius when he defeated the Stormbringer, the guy that you cut his head off.
Yeah.
Yep, in the Woodland Manse.
The big guy.
Something that looks like that. So you know how
I thought he was an orc.
he had some animalistic. It looks like he's an orc that looks very similar to that, but he's halfway through some kind of change into a pig-like character, kind of like Pigsy from Monkey Magic.
Orc Boar.
And they're fighting, the two of them.
So can I do something? Or
yes, you certainly can. So at
observing
this point, you guys, the entire party sort of stumble out there just because you've got height. You see it. You are able to see it first. You can see the pike get pushed and this boar-like creature with those tusks on its fists trying to scrape at the boar, and the two are engaged in a mighty battle. If you would like to intervene, now is a good time for you to roll some type of initiative.
Can I, while this jiggery pokery is going on, is there any way that I can?
I have regrets.
Please don't. This is just choice. What do I know about centaurs? Are they?
Centaurs are good races.
A good race, yes.
So a centaur is a good race.
Okay.
All right, Maradius, what did you get for your initiative, please?
11s.
Okay, J.R. Lockwood.
23.
Nikron.
9. I'm getting very worried. My dice are not with me tonight.
Aren't they?
No.
You get to roll a lot of them.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say, I don't think you need it.
No, the D20s I don't get to roll a lot of.
I don't think.
Gee, that's single digits every time.
Okay, 23. J.R. Lockwood, you get to go first here.
How far away am I?
So you break out. You're probably within 60 feet of this. It's not a large clearing.
I am going to cast vicious mockery at the porcine figure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to be like, what's all this hogwash?
Nice.
And I need a...
So on
will
point,
save.
Lindsay. You are so on point.
That is a wisdom save of 18.
Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
No.
Okay, so it makes it save. That brings us down in initiative order. You see the two combatants both take their turns. The first thing happens is the porcine creature, which is a lovely and apt description, uses both of its clawed gauntlets. As you can see, its porcine kind of features starting to fade back more to becoming an orc, if you will.
It is an orc. All right.
Or a half orc. It's a humanoid like orc. And you can see it slash towards this centaur creature, taking a gash out of its side. The centaur returns. I'm just going to play this by myself tonight, guys.
Cool.
Can I get somebody to roll me a d20 for the centaur, as he's going to use his pike to try and hit this porcine
8.
creature?
I'm really rolling shit tonight.
You see the pike spin around the centaur's kind of humanoid torso, flips it around, and with its hind leg kicks the blade of the pike into the boar-like creature. Can I get a damage dice, please, of a d10?
Oof. Should be a centaur, Brett.
4.
Okay. As you see a cut slide open across this half orc's body.
Half orc,
Yeah.
or half orc, half boar, or half orc.
Well,
half human.
you think you caught it in mid shape change.
Yeah, what's its parentage?
So it looks like it was moving from a boar. Like even as you watched it, it was morphing from a pig into a humanoid, and it's become more half orky as it's going through. That brings us to our next combatant, which is Moradius.
60 foot away, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Maradius is going to try and do a knowledge check on the porcine creature.
Mm-hmm.
Can you understand what that is by a knowledge nature or a medicine or an investigation or an insight or a...
What are you trying to determine,
What
Brett?
kind of creature is that?
Well, you've seen it changing shape, so you would assume it's a shape changer. But all you know is it's changing shape from a boar to a half orc. Whether that's the creature, whether it's a druid,
Gotcha. All right.
You don't know whether it's magical, or you know that it was mid changing shape.
All right, then you double move into flank with the centaur creature and say, "I'm with you, friend. We shall dispatch these filthy orcs and then converse and parley."
It kind of you hear the centaur kind of respond, looks at you in surprise. As it's first time it's noticed you. Are you stepping forth into the
Flanking with him.
Yep. So you move to the other side, and he kind of looks at you quite surprised to see your appearance
In primordial, perhaps?
I don't know that word.
What language did he speak? Primordial?
No, he's just talking in common.
Talking shit.
Watch out! He says to you as the creature sort of turns around, and you see the half orc now has put its attention upon you as well. That brings us down to J.R. Lockwood, Nykron.
Nykron's gonna. Can I delay to see what the orc does? Because if he goes for them still, then I'm gonna.
Yep.
Pick one of my many offensive spells to do awesome damage.
Okay. Okay. No problemo.
So
you do that. Ophelia, you see her move sort of within about 40 foot of the orc creature, thinking this is the way we're going to do it, and you can see her load and shoot one of her crossbows. The bolt rings true, and you see it stick out of this half-orc's flank. It hits it right in the side as a pool of blood starts dribbling down its side. Significant amount of damage. Well done. She's good.
Well done. Good job.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brings us to the top of the round. J.R. Lockwood, it is your go.
How bad does Mr. Ed look?
The centaur?
Yes.
It doesn't look bad. He's got a gash down the side, like where two kind of boars have struck his flank.
But he doesn't look like he's super injured or anything?
No.
Okay. I'm going to...
It certainly doesn't look like it's hindering him. Let's put it that way.
I'm going to do another vicious mockery on the boar orc.
Yep.
The BORK.
Yep.
I can't tell which one of you is more ugly in pig form or orc form.
That is a 14.
Yeah!
Yes. Success. Oh. That was 2d4 because I'm 5th level now. 3 points.
Nice.
3 points of damage.
3 points of damage.
Psychic damage and disadvantage on their next attack roll.
Okay.
Emotional damage.
All right, which brings it to their turn. So you've stayed sort of on the edge of this copse of trees watching this exchange happen. The boar, or the half orc, as you can now see it, attempts to do 2 claw attacks upon...
So can I come out of my readied...
Yes, of course.
Can I do that now, or have I got to wait for you to resolve?
No, you can see it gaining up to attack.
Okay, there we go. So we are going to roll a natural 1.
Okay, your dice really are not with
They
you.
aren't. These D20s are really killing me at the minute. So what happens now?
You miss.
Okay, is that it?
That's it.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah,
so
there's no adverse effect for this. We don't have a fumble deck for this game.
Firebolt goes streaking off into the sky.
Okay.
I'm setting off fireworks.
It's bright enough down here. We could just use some firepower into the flank of this creature.
Thank you, Beetle and Grimes. You've sold me shite.
Oh, how it turned.
Noticing that there are far more opponents than just the centaur in front of him, the half-orc looks around, and while he did get ready to do some slashes, Nykron, knowing now that you're in the sky and that there's this kind of rock-like creature on one side, the centaur on the other, you can see him kind of shut his eyes for a moment, and a wave of thunderous force sweeps from him, emanates from this creature in a 15-foot kind of burst coming out. Everybody in that needs to make a constitution save.
Oh, he be a magic user.
That's you, Brett.
You going to dispel this?
It's not counterspell.
No. Okay. Dispel.
Just me? Is it just me?
Gotcha.
It's you and the centaur.
So I got a 21 because con's my jam.
Okay, the 21 is quite enough for you to save. You see this force, though, ripple straight through the centaur's flanks. You can see like the muscles and kind of the skin folds go boom as the centaur seems to break a little bit, taking damage, and it slides back 10 foot away from this creature as this thunder wave hits it with a clap.
He's giving the horse a clap.
And just to be double sure, there's no opportunity attack for spells next to someone, right?
It's attack rolls only.
Poop.
Okay. The centaur immediately regains its footing, shakes off the effect of that, and then puts its pike down for a bit of a not a charge, because from that distance it can't, but it moves straight back in and attempts to hit this orc again. Can you roll a d20 for me, someone?
10.
10. Once again, hitting.
You just talked about having shit d20s and you keep rolling them.
The pike.
Yeah,
For the Borg over here.
that's fine. The Borg.
The pike swings low, hitting the boar on the leg and doing 1d10 damage.
Oh, good hit, Luke.
5.
Nicely
Five.
done.
Again, cutting quite a large
So depressing.
chunk out
I've
of
got all this power.
cutting a large chunk out of its leg. That brings us to, I believe, Moradius.
Well, Moradius is going to do a reckless attack, which lets me roll advantage on the first attack. 17 to hit.
That definitely will hit. What does that look like?
Hold on. So I'm just using my Savage Attacker ability to re-roll the damage because I wasn't happy with the 5 that came up. But I got a 3, so I'll take the 5 instead. So as he rolls his shoulder and pulls his great axe over the top, he's just straight down with an overhand chop, doing 7 points of damage.
Oh,
And then as it flows through, he'll come back with his second attack.
yep.
Because he can. For a natural 19 for 24 to hit.
That's definitely going to strike into this creature.
Doing 9 points of damage on the way
Oh,
back. So he kind of
That
rolls
is
it
a
over,
lot of
swings it
damage.
round, rolls it back,
Mhm.
hits in 2 hits, and that'll do.
All right. That then brings us to Nikron. Oh, no, you're now on a different initiative. Sorry, I now have to move that. Ophelia once again loads her crossbow on her wrist and she attempts to string, but that is a natural 1 on the D&D
dude.
die.
Maybe we
So,
need to make a fumble.
yeah,
fumble through fumble
she flings wide as her bolt does not hit the half orc.
I'm super happy that those bolts don't hit people in base to base with the enemy.
Back to the top. JR Lockwood, it is your go.
I'm going to cast Healing Word on our horsey friend. Be like, pony up, friend, I'm coming.
Nicely done.
So that is 7 points of healing.
Oh, nice.
Jolly good.
And then I'm going to move 25 feet forward, just whistling as I walk forward.
Okay. Again, you see the centaur kind of turn around and look to another combatant which has entered, because up until this point you've probably been mostly hidden with your rolls of 21, 23?
True, yes.
20 for JR Lockwood.
That is my friend.
Yeah. And he kind of looks around and he nods at you in thanks and continues to whirl around. The orc-like creature, you see him for the first time take a shield off his back, sling it down to his forearm as Nikron's getting his go. Thanks for that non-verbal cue.
I was like, is it me? So this time Nikron decides to, put his neck in.
Yep.
And is firing a firebolt with a 2-hit roll of 21.
Oh, that'll definitely hit. As his shield has not yet come into effect.
That's right. So it is streaking fire across the across the sky, comes in for 15 points of damage.
Holy smokes. Oh my God.
Smoked pig.
Yeah. Wow. The half orc. The shield kind of comes into play and he kind of puts it up in a defensive posture. You can see he's weary. He's unsteady on his feet. He looks like he is, you can smell bacon from this creature. And he attempts to withdraw from the situation, but because he's pulled a shield down already, he is not. He just sort of tries to move out to the side around looking both ways, probably around you, Maradius. He's going to stay on your side away from the centaur creature. He then attempts to strike at you, Maradius, but I don't believe that a 13 is going to hit you.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, so it does not ring true. You can see just even where you are, there's blood, there's scorch marks, there's quite a nasty bolt sticking out of his side, a big gash on his thigh from the pike. And then the centaur steps up. D20, please.
6.
And a D10. Oh, sorry. No need for that, because with the shield, the half orc is able to turn away the
shitty roll that I
the
did.
pike. Yeah. So the pike comes slashing in as where it might have hit before. It does not hit now using the power of this very nice shield.
Oh.
That'll bring us to Maradius.
Well, Maradius will step in and hit twice again using his ferocious attack for advantage, dealing a 22 to hit, 13 points of damage on the first hit.
Yep.
And
just describe that as you dispatch this creature on the first hit.
Yeah.
Maradius.
Well, he's coming in with his great axe held in both hands across the side, and he just kind of lets go of his offhand and flicks it out at the neck of the boar orc, jamming it into its throat.
Yep. You see a gust of blood spray out of its neck. Do you continue with your second attack anyway?
Yes, he does.
Fatality.
Rips his heart.
Second attack will hit, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
For 10 points of damage.
Yeah, and you just see, even though this orc is dead on its feet, you watch Maradius.
You may surrender.
What was the second attack?
That was it. 13 and then 10.
Yeah, well, you've chopped it in the throat. What
it's
did
on
you
the
do?
floor, right?
Yeah.
He just went overhand, bang, straight in the skull.
Just cleft it in
Just
two.
Crush.
Yeah. And
Like
you
boulders falling from a mountainside.
Mhm. Thank you. No, let's do that again. That was not the voice.
No,
I went into
done. It's locked in.
I went into
It's locked in.
I practiced this voice too. Thank you, friend.
Yes, a pleasure to make your acquaintance, friend.
I am in your debt for helping me.
Welcome in your debt. I am Maradius.
My name is Xanth.
Oh,
What's
pleasure
that?
to meet you, Sant.
Who are your compatriots?
Allow me to introduce us. I am J.R. Lockwood at your service, and this is that bird up there circling. That is Nicron, the firebird. And this is Ophelia.
I am liking that. The Firebird.
It is pleased to meet you. He kind of bends over and he kind of kicks the orc with one of his hoofed kind of, I guess, do they have feet? No, with his hoof.
Hoof.
That would be really weird. A centaur with human feet.
Just on the front.
Yeah.
Just on the front. Just on the front.
Any of you listeners out there that are budding artists, please do an interpretation of
Just
that
a
image.
hoof with toes. He bends low and he picks up the shield and he kind of looks at it and he says, "More your size." And he hands it to you, Maradius.
Oh, yes, thank you. This is
thanks.
it looks like an impressive piece of equipment. I would gladly take this and wield it, even though it's difficult with a great axe, two-handed and all. But
This scum has been all over the woods.
what is this creature?
It is orc,
Why was it Boar?
a shape changer.
What do you know of them?
There are spellcasters in the Neverwinter Wood. They have taken over. Orc
Marady spits on the floor.
hordes are at foot. I've dispatched many orcs.
We've just cleared out an old wizard man's that had one of these creatures in it.
Yes, the pumpkin pants.
Yes, pumpkin pants, yes.
Yes. It is, there were orcs there as well.
Yes, lots of them. They're all dead.
Oh, good work. they're dead. Good.
Is it?
And he kind of laughs weirdly as he doesn't, it's a very different kind of socialization that a centaur has. And he says, they are spellcasters in the circle of thunder. It is a barrow of stones where they seem to be amassing. However, there are bigger things at foot, perhaps, that you could help with.
Oh, okay. We are literally just trying to go check on a friend of ours who apparently the orcs were going to come attack his camp. But we're happy to help you out as soon as we make sure he's okay.
Do you speak of Falcon?
Exactly.
It is him that I must warn out the orc attack. However, I have recently discovered another thing, and I am split as to helping Falcon or helping the region at large.
Oh, that is... Okay. What is this other thing that you're split about?
The dragon.
Oh, yes, we are trying to work on that too.
There is said to be a sword.
A sword?
In the nearby woods. And he pulls out a scroll and he says, I have found this. I may have let me tell you a story. And he kind of sits down and you start sort of picking on, and he gets to the side and he says, in the time long ago in the city of Neverwinter, it was ruled by a noble family known as the Alagondas. Lady Tanamir Alagonda was the scion of this family, and a fierce warrior in her own right. She had always been fascinated by tales of dragons and their hordes, and she yearned for the chance to test her mettle against one of these fearsome beasts. It was a fate to be fulfilled. Tales reached the lady's ears of a green dragon named Azdraka, who had begun terrorizing the high road outside of Neverwinter, attacking travelers and caravans and demanding a tribute from them. The dragon needed to be stopped. Lady Alaganda saw this as an opportunity to prove herself and rallied a group of adventurers to join her in slaying the dragon. 2 parties of brave warriors heeded her call, and together they set out to confront the beast. Azdraka was a fearsome foe, but after a grueling battle, the adventurers managed to slay the beast, but not without suffering heavy losses. Lady Alaganda herself fell in the fight, but not before dealing a killing blow to Azdraka with her golden sword set to carry the might of her ancestors. In her dying moments, she made a request to her surviving companions that they bury her along with the remains of her fallen comrades and the corpse of the dragon. They found a barrow near where they had fought. She wanted to be remembered as a hero who had given her life to protect the people of Neverwinter from a terrible threat. And so, it was that Lady Tanamir Alagonda, her companions, and the dragon, Azdraka, were interred in a barrow where they would lie undisturbed for centuries. The barrow became a place of pilgrimage for those who sought to honor the memory of the lady and her fellow adventurers, and many tales were told of their bravery and sacrifices. But as the years passed and the world changed around them, the barrow, a symbol of courage and heroism, fell from the minds of people. The testament to the indomitable spirit of those who had fought to protect their home became lost. I, however, have uncovered this scroll, and hearing the plight of the people of Neverwinter once again under attack from a dragon, have traveled here to find a band of worthy souls to find this barrow and recover Alagonda's sword, so they, like Lady Taramir Alagonda, can defeat this foe and once again bring peace. The sword, I am hoping, is in this barrow, but I must now warn my friend Falcon of an impending attack of orcs. I am torn between these 2 very important tasks. It is fortuitous that we meet, almost like it is written in a module.
Yes, it is very fortuitous indeed. We are actually on a mission to slay this dragon. We went to see Falcon to see if he had anything to help us with. So
Perhaps you as dragon slayers can get to this barrow.
Yes,
I can give you direction.
yes, and you're probably quicker than us with, the 4 legsies and whatnot. You might be able to get to Falcon a lot quicker than we could. I'm quite slow, and he's made of rock.
It is so.
I'm right here.
Not you.
He kind of takes out another piece of parchment and he kind of pulls out a piece of charcoal and draws a very quick map of a pathway. And as he's doing it, he's describing different landmarks, different places. Follow the river up to the bridge, get across, that kind of stuff. And he draws you a picture of where to go to find the dragon's barrow.
Oh.
All right.
And with that, he says, I must go and warn Falcon of an impending attack. At which point, Ophelia kind of whispers something, and he says, yes, young one, I will take you with me as well. And she kind of hops up upon his back, upon the centaur's back.
Already seen that.
And the two of them ride off into the distance on the way to Falcon's lodge. At the same time as two things probably dawn on you. Number one, if they were a party of adventurers, why did someone not heal her if she had enough time to ask them to inter her? That's a first question of the Lady Allegondra story. And secondly, you remember you have a stone to talk to Falcon.
Yep.
But we'll deal with that next time.
I mean, maybe they're all out of spell slots.
Well, we were all just a little overwhelmed with the idea of a sword.
Yeah.
Are you proficient with a sword?
I'm proficient with all the shit, man. The shield. I want to know what the shield is.
Nice.
Because it might mean changing up from a great axe to a lesser
I
weapon.
can give you this. The spellcasters in the party immediately recognize its magical nature.
Can we identify it?
Yeah, it's a +1 shield.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to have to sleep with that 10 foot from me, though.
You're not going to want the sword then, are you?
As long as it sleeps 10 foot away from me.
A shield and a sword. Imagine
Imagine that.
Imagine all the people.
That. Magical things bring trouble. Never sleep with a magical object within 10 feet of you.